Good morning, everyone. I'm starting off the day with a mild 5 or 6 mile hike, and I am in the RAV4 for this trip. I drove here last night and I camped just half a mile from here, from the trailhead. I'm in the Crazy Mountains. If you're familiar with southwestern Montana, this is about 40 or 50 miles northeast of Bozeman. And this is a mountain range that I've never been to before. I've been wanting to come here for a while. And it's a little bit smoky today. As I was driving in yesterday, I couldn't even really see the mountains as I was right in front of them. Today looks a little bit clearer, but it's still not clear. It's still smoky. I can smell it. I can taste the smoke from wildfires, and the sky has kind of an orange tinge, an orange haze to it, but shouldn't be a big deal. Shouldn't really impact us today, except for the views a little bit, but I'm excited. There are no other cars in the parking lot here, and I'm excited to stretch my legs a little bit and get deeper into the Crazy Mountains. The trail starts off here as a multi-use trail. You can drive your ATV or dirt bike up the old road here. I have 3 separate destinations in this canyon here, each one successively higher and farther than the previous one. And like I said, the first one is about 5-6 miles away from the trailhead. And here's a look at the smokiness that we have here this morning. You can make out the outlines of the peaks, but can't quite see any details quite yet. I'm an hour and 20 minutes into the hike now, and I've left the ATV trail behind. I'm on a proper trail, proper little footpath. Amazing views opening up to me here. Beautiful rugged mountain peaks reaching above tree line. It's a beautiful morning, beautiful place, even with the smoke. And by the way, if you're wondering how I carry my camera when I'm hiking, this is how. So here, there's a carabiner, this red carabiner that's attached to, or that goes around the kind of the neck of the ball head right here on the tripod. And then this end of the tripod is secured with some elastic. I'll put links to all these things down below. This is the Canon M6 Mark II camera. This is a third-party ball head, and then this is a separate carbon fiber tripod that I also use as a selfie stick. This ball head is cool because it's quick release. So if you want to quickly take the camera off the tripod, it's fast and easy to do. Great setup. I've been using this for years. Works really well. I've left the main trail a little bit. I saw this little gorge, this little slot that the creek has carved into the mountain here. I thought, oh, that looks cool. So I wanted to check it out a little bit. And as I got closer, I realized there's a waterfall deep back in there. Let's see if I can access it. Well, this is unexpectedly amazing. I didn't know this was here. This is just a happy little accident. What a gorgeous place. More little cascades down at the back of the slot here. What a spot. Just amazing. And now after about 6 miles of hiking, a little over 3 hours of hiking, and about an hour after leaving the waterfall, I am at Cottonwood Lake. Just a gorgeous and incredibly still right now lake high up in the mountains here, ringed by incredible jagged peaks. This might be the stillest place I've ever been. It is just so quiet. I feel like I should be whispering. What a magical little spot. And that smoke in the sky is giving just kind of an airy, ethereal, otherworldly, dreamy quality to the light and just to everything. Whoa, feels good to stop and sit for a little while. So this place is called the Crazy Mountains. There are conflicting reports as to the source of that name. The most common seems to be that a westward migrating wagon train was attacked and a woman's family were killed, presumably by Native Americans. And the woman was the only survivor, and she fled and lived in these mountains, and she went mad from grief and just from being alone. And so that's one possible explanation for why these are called the Crazy Mountains. The thing is, I've heard that story before. There's a canyon in the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming called Crazy Woman Canyon. I think the story is the same. Maybe it was that common, or maybe it's just kind of a folk tale that went around that spread pretty easily. Another explanation is that in the Crow language, so the Crow is a Native American tribe that used to be in this area, used to live in this area. They used to come to these mountains for vision quests. In their language, these were called the Ominous Mountains, or kind of a looser translation is the Crazy Mountains. Either way, they are crazy beautiful. I'm just kind of in awe looking all around me here, 360 degrees. In every direction there are beautiful, beautiful mountains, beautiful peaks, beautiful jagged summits. It's my kind of place. And this is, by the way, this lake is the first of the 3 places that I mentioned that I wanted to see. That waterfall, again, was not part of the scheduled programming, but we'll call that point 5. This is 1, and then 2 and 3 are above me here. I'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. For now, I just want to sit and enjoy the peace and quiet here and have a snack. And that now brings us to our next objective, which is high above me here, high above the lake. Above the lake here, you can see this broad ridge, this big hump. And I think that's a moraine of some sort, which is basically a big pile of earth that a glacier has pushed aside. And there's a glacier up there, and that's what I'm headed toward. And so that means I have to climb up all of this loose junk, this nastiness here. I'm not entirely sure of the best way to get up there. I think they're all going to be equally terrible, so the best course of action might be to just go straight up the thing, but I don't know. I'll play around with it. I'll just head up, and if I need to go off to the side, I will. Either way, I should end up on top of that mound, beyond that bench, and there is a glacier up there, or at least there are the remains of a glacier up there. More on that when we get there. Whoa. And now after about 5 hours of hiking, we've reached the destination. This is really what I wanted to get to today. This is called the Grasshopper Glacier, or at least what's left of it. There are multiple Grasshopper or Hopper glaciers in this part of the country. There are a few in Montana. I know there's one in the Beartooth, south of here, that's pretty well known. This is one of the lesser known ones. And there are some in the Wind River Range in Wyoming. And they're called that because back in the day, who knows how many hundreds or thousands of years ago, swarms of locusts or grasshoppers came through these mountains, landed on these glaciers, and then got trapped by storms, or maybe the temperature just dropped dramatically. And the grasshoppers were essentially frozen in the ice in these glaciers. The problem is that these glaciers are rapidly melting, as we can see with this one here. I don't know if there are even any grasshoppers left in this one. That's what I wanted to come here to see. I'm guessing there aren't, but I'm curious. I was curious. And even if I don't find any, I mean, you can't argue, you can't complain with this kind of scenery, right? Very few people come to places like this. I couldn't find a single picture of this online. I couldn't even really find references to people visiting this glacier online. So my curiosity was just piqued. I wanted to come here for myself, see it in person, see if there was anything here. So give me a little bit of time here. I'm gonna wander around, see if I can find anything, see if I can find any grasshoppers, any locusts. I'm guessing not, but gotta put in the legwork, gotta know for sure. Okay guys, believe it or not, I've actually found a few. I am amazed, I am shocked. I thought there was like a 5% chance that I'd be able to find some here. And it only took like 2 minutes of searching, so let me show them to you. This is the first one that I saw. I've put my tube of chapstick here for a sense of scale. I think most of us are familiar with just a regular tube of chapstick. And look at that little guy right there. He's about 1 inch long. He has blue hind legs. And the interesting thing about these, or so I'm told at least, is that some of these are actually extinct species of insects. How amazing is that? Just trapped up here like a time capsule for thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years, I read. Trapped in the ice here, and we can just come up here and see them. It's like going back in time to see these these dead little guys here. Let me show you a couple more. This one's a little bit bigger, about 1.5 inches or 2 inches long. Now these are kind of gross. Like, I'm not an insect person. I don't like insects, so I don't relish showing these to you up close. I just think it's a fascinating story. This one's kind of covered in mud here, a little bit harder to see. Here's another one. Now that I know they're here, they're not that hard to find. There are quite a few of them here. It was just the uncertainty of finding them in the first place. But they're everywhere. Here's a little stream of meltwater flowing right over one of the little guys. You just wonder, okay, in 5, 10, 20, 50 years, how much of this is going to be left? Are there going to be any grasshoppers left here? Is there going to be any ice here? Who knows? It's interesting for me to see little pieces of pine tree, little sprigs like this here, because there are not any trees anywhere near here. There is not a single pine tree anywhere that I can see in any direction. So I'm guessing at some point it was, I don't know, was it warmer up here? So there were trees growing up here and they were trapped in the ice along with the locusts. I don't know. Again, frankly, I'm amazed that this has come together as well as it has, but I'm not complaining. The waterfall was amazing, the lake was amazing, the glacier here, super interesting, but we're not done yet. I told you there were 3 things that I wanted to see. We've seen 2 of them so far. The third is this mountain right here. You'd be ashamed to come this far and not try to get to the top of that thing. So what I'm gonna do is to go up to this notch that is directly behind my head or above my head here. Go up that notch, which looks, again, pretty miserable, but maybe doable, and then try to go along the ridge here to the top. I'm kind of exhausted just thinking about it and talking about it, but it'll be worth it once we're up there, if we're able to get up there. Even just going up to the notch, I think will be worth it to see what's over in that next kind of basin over. We should be able to see some more mountains from over there, so whew. Let's give it a shot. I'm trying very hard here to not have a rock roll onto my foot or ankle like just happened there. That would be a trip ender for sure. In some of these sections, I put my weight on a rock and I can feel 10 feet of slope shift slightly. Kind of disconcerting. Well, that ascent from the glacier to the notch, which is just right here, was not pleasant, but at least it didn't take long. It only took about 20 minutes. It was over fast, and you can really see how little of a glacier there is there. It's just like a smear of ice, and you can imagine all of this being ice at some point in the not too distant past. Great views though. You can see the lake down over there where I was earlier. So the first thing that I notice here is that my plan to follow the ridge to the top of the mountain is not going to happen. This is sheer cliff. The summit is over here somewhere, and there's no way to climb this without technical rock climbing gear, you know, ropes and all that stuff. So that's not going to happen today. The second thing I noticed is that there's a really neat lake down over here on the other side of the notch. This is called Rock Lake. Not very imaginative, but I guess it's fitting. And then we have this wall of cliffs over here. And again, the smoke is making it hard to really see distinct features here, but I think you can get an idea of just how sheer that wall is. And then on the other side of the notch here, there's a little summit. I think I'm going to try to go up to the top of that as a consolation prize. Wow. Well, I mean, what do you even say to describe a place like this? I don't think I can really say anything that the videos, the clips of this place can't convey better than me. Unreal. Absolutely unbelievable. The best way I've thought of to describe what it's like to be in a place like this is that you feel just so tenuously connected to the earth. Just, you're on literally a razor's edge, you know, you're just so barely connected to the planet. You feel like at any moment you could just fly up into the sky, you know? Like there's nothing holding you here. This is the closest you can get to being up there, I feel like, without actually flying. And that to me is just a magical thing. It's just magnificent being here in a place like this. And that's why I love the drone. I always say that the drone makes it look as epic as it feels. Like you get the drone footage of me here and it looks awesome. And that's what it feels like to be here. If I just took this camera and panned around and showed you the view that I see here, I mean, that's great. But until you can see me in relation to everything else, it just doesn't quite click. And even now, I guarantee the drone is not doing this place justice. All of that said, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to pick up the camera and pan around and show you a few things. So this is the glacier, the Grasshopper Glacier, what's left of it. Above it we have the peak that I was trying to climb, which was this thing, which I don't think even has a name. And then going over to the right, let me reposition my feet here so I don't fall over. Rock Lake down there. And then this thing over here, this massive wall. Got some glaciers or snowfields over here with, I don't know if you can see them, little waterfalls right here that are being fed by the melting snowfields. Then looking out toward the lake, Cottonwood Lake. And I think that in the future, for future reference, probably this peak would be the better goal to ascend. What a place. Okay, enough chit chat. It is 3 p.m. I need to get out of here. I have about 4 hours of daylight left, 4 or 5 hours of daylight left, I guess. I'm gonna try to go down a slightly different way than the way I came up. Let me show you. So I climbed up to where I am now from the notch down here. It wasn't especially fun. And so I'm gonna try to take an alternate route down. I'm gonna try to go down over to here, somewhere around here, and then down this way, and then meet back up with the lake over there. I'm not going to film the descent here. I think I'm going to focus on just getting down quickly and safely. I don't want to be distracted by filming, so I'll see you guys probably at a campsite. It might be the same spot that I camped at last night. I'm not sure if I'll have time to go anywhere else, but I'll see you at camp, presumably in one piece. Oh. Did you guys know that the Crazy Mountains have the highest concentration of wolverines in the lower 48? I certainly didn't until I started preparing for this trip. But I think that just goes to show how wild, how crazy these mountains really are. What an amazing place. Coming down was not too bad, took a few hours. And man, I'm still thinking about being up on that ridge, up on that point with those mountains around me. I'm still just kind of speechless about it. That was absolutely incredible. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a great time. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna have some food. Gonna rest and relax for the rest of the evening. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.